All right, guys. Welcome, to a monster episode of WalKing Buckets 360. We're going to do the Holy Name Baskektball Dynasty reunion tonight. A show that I've dreamt of doing. I've watched these guys build this dynasty from the floor up. Hopefully we have some special guests on tonight. We got the Big Easy, Kareem Tatum, who I have a history with through the Friendly House. We actually played together. We will hear the story here, how we had a half-court shot to win us a championship back in 1989. Diago McClain needs no introduction. Coaching at South High, building a dynasty, and that's what tonight's about. We want the city to see what went into this program. Diego's pretty much on the same track with the program he's running with the South High Lady Colonels currently. So also we have Brian Therian, BT. We got Rodney coming through tonight, Big Rodney, and hopefully a few others from this team. We've heard a pretty good response back. I think Eddie Brown's coming through tonight, always hosted by myself and DeMarr Langford. DeMarr's going to take the reins tonight because it just makes sense. I'll pop in and out. But as always, we want to thank Emily's Interiors, my guy Joe Cupsis down in Shrewsbury. Also, he owns Remodel Works. Also, we want to thank, as always, Platt's Landscaping. And, we want to give a shout out to Rivera Promotions and Lundgren Honda and Sherns Boxing. They've been helping us out along too. So tonight, this episode here, it's been a different day around here. We lost a good one. We want to screen share pretty quick here. You guys can see. This episode is going to be dedicated to my buddy Mark Boot Welch. We know him as Boot, but we lost him last night in a fluke accident. I don't know what happened, but good one gone too soon. We want to play this quick. Yeah. Dedicated to my man Boot. We are definitely going to miss that one. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a great episode for you tonight, and I'm looking forward to this. Oh, man, well, guys,
hey.
Here we are. We're going four square right now. We're already in the legend zone right here. We got legendary Coach JP Ricciardi stepping in tonight. Was supposed to be a surprise, but everybody was late, so we're going to kick the show off with him tonight.
What else is new?
Yeah, right?
Hey, Jay, I was on time for once. I'm on time for once.
Kareem was
Rodney.
The Big Easy was the
2 minutes late.
In
2 minutes late.
Love it. So
you see you, Coach.
Let's just out of the shadows, man. Kareem Tatum coming through tonight too. I've been wanting you to hit these waves for a long time now, man, because we need to discuss this. Was JP, you know all about this too, man. This is 1989, right? That friendly house, I shined it, right? A friendly house, my only championship hardware, right? Kareem, how did we get this?
We put in work back then.
The half-court shot at the buzzer.
Yep.
I've told this
Eddie
story.
Brown is still upset about that.
As he should be, man. I needed justification on the podcast right there because I've been telling this story for like 30 years, so I needed justification.
Yep.
JP, we go way back, man. You were my soccer coach at Adams Street back in 1986, or maybe somewhere around in that neck of the woods. Also, we're here tonight to talk about the dynasty, the Holy Name Dynasty, which, as embarrassing as this is, man, I tried out for that team and I tripped over the half-court line in tryouts. And that was the last time I was ever involved in any kind of organized basketball ever again. But that
line's gotten a lot of people.
I'll tell you, man, I don't know what happened, but I was nervous, but phenomenal. I love. Now, what we're doing here tonight is we want to talk about the Dynasty. Diego's coming through. He should be here in a few. But, Coach, what do you think about what he's doing at South High this year?
Yeah, I've been trying to follow it. I guess they're having a really good year. Happy for 'em. I really should try to get up to see a game, but I'm not around that much. So
I
but
don't
I'm
even
happy.
know. I don't know if
I'm
they're
happy to
letting
see they're
people
doing
in.
well. What's that?
I don't even know if they're letting people in other than parents and siblings right now for a couple weeks anyway. But COVID's messing everything up, man. COVID got my man Kareem last week. We were supposed to be
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're happy you're healthy and back at it.
Yeah.
My man. So there he is. Yeah, late to the party, but the general right here. Diago McClain in all South gear, it looks like. There it is.
Oh, we're here. Rep.
Diago,
Sting.
coach is upset that you're late here. He wants you to run a little bit. Are you ready?
I was born ready, man.
I know that.
Where's my-
All about that. All about that. So, man, guys. So we're in the midst of the Dynasty talk, Diego. I was just talking to Coach Ricciardi, and man, the city's upset because of how you're building that program, but it's eerily similar to this one we're here to talk about tonight. Building a dynasty with hard work.
Blame the guy on the camera.
We got choppy there, Diego.
Blame the guy on the camera over there.
Yeah, that's what we intend to do, man.
I said, blame the way I am now because of the guy on the camera over there. See him?
Exactly.
See that handsome guy over there?
That's what we're here to talk about, man. So it's hard work, right? It's all hard work. And the problem that we've discussed is, you guys are kind of blowing teams out of the water. JP, what do you think about that? Like, did you encounter that back in the day? Like, with this team, the dynasty you had back in the day, there was points where there were teams that couldn't compete. Did you ever have to cut star players' playing time, to kind of for etiquette or to not hurt feelings? Did you ever run into that?
There was only one team we never mind running a score up against, St. John's. So, and all the other times we tried to take the high road and respect our opponent, but kids worked hard all the time, so I didn't want to take them out and let them play.
That's the truth. And I've been following Diego's team this year, and it stinks because these girls are all putting in the same amount of work, and you're getting to the end of the bench, and the end of his bench is better than someone else's, starters, and you can't tell them to slow it down, or do you? Because they want the opportunity to get better and maybe start or, build themselves. But how do you take that away from someone that's putting in, the same amount of work as the starters?
I don't think you can penalize the team that's good, if the guys come off the bench and they're just as good as the starters, what can you do? I mean, you can't. Plus, you got a shot clock in high school. It's hard to hold the ball all that time.
Yeah,
but,
it's actually almost disappointing at this point because that's really what we've had to do this year, right, Diego?
Oh yeah, it's getting to be. It's not varsity basketball anymore. It's kind of. I hold my girls accountable for working hard in practice and giving their all. And I always say to my bench, shame on you if these girls are starting and you're sitting there on the bench. What I mean? If they're not ready and you're not ready, shame on you. So, I mean, Mike, you see how they come out. They're all on the same, we're on the same page. And now it seems some of the other schools are not as at our level yet. So I got to hold back, but I just feel bad for my seniors. You know what I mean? I see all these girls that are leading scorers. That's like if JP said to me and Kareem, you're up 15 or 20, I got to bench you. Would cry. He wouldn't be like, what? What do you mean you're going to bench us? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. We want to play the whole game. So now it's coming like I got two girls that are really good, Grace and Tamia, and they're playing 2 quarters. And it's like, I'm taking we're playing good defense. We're not making layups. We're pulling back. I'm doing shot clock violations. I'm holding the ball. I'm doing situational basketball at 5 seconds to go. Let's go. They'll hit a shot. I mean, you've seen it, Mike. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like refs are coming by me. Like, how do you coach this way? And how do you preparing for the states, like the state tournament? I'm holding myself back. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then sometimes you might not even get in. You know what I mean? But points. Like we were ranked 24th. We went to 29th. And you don't even know we can go 19-1 and we might not even get in. So it's like, what do you do? And it's crazy.
And also too, what do you do with your star players? You kind of gotta get boosted up to get the colleges to notice you, man. And I think it's a shame because Grace should be scoring like 40 a game. And I hope it doesn't hold her back, but you hope that the colleges look deeper into it,
and it's not even that, Mike. It's the point that these girls, like I was telling you before on my last night, it's not like they pick up a ball up once a year. When basketball starts, they pick the ball up. No, they're working out all summer, getting their bodies right. They love basketball. They're not just playing just to play. They have these goals since little kids, since I had them since 5th, 4th grade. They've been talking about going Division I. They have these high expectations in their dreams. You know what I mean? So if I can help them do it, but it seems like it's being held back because of their talent, because of all the work they put in. And I don't think it's fair. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just tell some of the college coaches, you know who they are, just don't show up to this game. You know what I mean? Waste your time because I'm not going to be able to play them. So, I mean, I think that it's changing. It's not like when we played, man. It's like all the teams were good, but we all played basketball in the off season. We all played at the parks. We're always in the gym. JP had us doing things off, like telling us, listen, you got to run. I still make my girls run those laps that you gave us, Jay. I still do it in my gym, make them run the laps for the first month before school, before we start, tryouts. I hold them accountable for stuff like that, but you could tell who works out and who doesn't. You know what I mean? You could see it when you're playing against them, and you can't fault us for that. You know what I mean?
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah.
No
so,
doubt.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's tough, but we still do what we have to do, and we play it the right way. We still have sportsmanship. We're still helping kids up. You know what I mean? You see it, Mike. You see how we play.
No doubt. You've done an amazing job this year managing like what you've had to manage. I'll tell you that. I mean, these girls have been prepared for war every game, but you've had to be able to hold back, and the program's going to blow up after this year. It's already through the roof as it is, and it's going to be a dynasty. I already know that, which is why we're here tonight. JP, your absolute favorite game that you would go back and watch multiple times right now, if you don't have the footage, but you probably do, at Holy Name, your all-time favorite game that you coached.
Wow. It would be hard to pick one game. It was different groups that came through that all did different things and did them well. I think, God,
The most intense game, or
it's hard to say because, Diego and Rodney were part of a group that started the program going in the right direction. And then Kareem and the next group took it to another level. And then we had a group after them that even took it to another level. So it really was almost a 3-phase run, I would say. But I mean, there was just so many great games. I mean, we played so many great teams, and we really challenged the program. We went outside the state and played. We played some powerhouse teams. I mean, it would really be tough to pinpoint one, but I mean, these guys, Kareem and Rodney and Diego, that North game in the district finals, I mean, that was as intense as you're probably going to get. Plus, the other thing was we played North twice during the year, and the game up at South that they had to move the game because they wanted more fans. That was an amazing game. And then we beat them in the district finals. That was a great game. And then we turned around, and the state semifinals, I don't think we could have played a better game. But I don't know how these guys are, but I always think of the losses more than I think of the wins. I think the following year we lost in the district finals to St. John's, and the whole team was sick for the week leading up to it, and we didn't have any legs. They were gassed, and I would have liked to have played those guys when everybody was healthy, because when we were healthy, it was a tough team to beat. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of these guys. They were so much fun to coach. I mean, even the year I think Diago left, I remember Kareem. I threw him out of practice the night before we played Fitchburg, who was number one, and he came back and he had a monster game with Matty Martunis. I mean, they played unbelievable. I still see a move Diago made in district finals against North to get through two guys for a layup. I mean, that move they do in the NBA now, where they go forward and then they go back. And
Hesitation. Yeah.
Diago was doing that when he was 10 years old. I mean, and it's still, no one could press us with Diago. And the other thing is, and we always say this when I talk to the coaches, the best thing about Diago was he practiced harder than everybody else. And he brought everybody else up and he made everybody else better because he never took a day off when he practiced. So that made us a better team. But I mean, these guys were involved in some even the year we lost in the state finals. I mean, we went 7 for 21 from the free throw line. If we go 11 for 21, we win the state championship by 1 point. And the whole run we went on, we were amazing at the free throw line. And I mean, I could, you're going to get me going here with all that.
That's what we're hoping to do. I mean,
I still remember the St. John's game. We went in there, they were undefeated, and we totally just dismantled them. Paulie David kept yelling at me. He said, Jay, the only way we're going to beat St. John's, because I hated play zone, he said, we have to pack a zone. So we totally packed the zone, and we just said they're going to have to beat us from the outside. They couldn't shoot. And these guys just they played unbelievable. I mean, it was a great, great game. And, it was Jimmy DeVolio. I still remember him telling me after the game, he said, today we settled all family business. So I got a lot of memories. These guys are adults now and I could share them with them. But at the time, I mean, we had some really, really good, great games and just a great group.
I knew, talking with Brian and Rodney and Kareem, I knew we had something special when we came together in practice. Like, our practice was like WWE, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was intense. I mean, you had the coaches that were hard. You would bring some older guys in to beat us up. So we seen it all. But then we just started gelling as a team, like off the court, on the court, in practice. And then when we had to play Wachusett that day, I felt bad for them because we had to play that playing game. And we handed it to them. And right there, I knew. I told Rodney, and Rodney, you could defend me. I said, listen, we playing St. John. I said, we ain't losing, man. I didn't even know how districts went. I had to ask Brian about it. I was like, so Brian, if we beat this team, we play St. John's, right? If we beat them, where do we go next? Because my heart was going to WPI. I said, I'm going to WPI. He said, we go to WPI. I said, okay. I said, so if that, then who do we get? We get the winner out of North, and whoever they played, they end up winning by a buzzer shot or something. Remember, Sal hit
was it Burncoat?
No, it was they played.
We had to beat.
No, we beat Milford. We had to beat Milford.
Milford.
But they played before us. Remember, North beat someone with a buzzer shot. I forgot what team. I forgot who it was. Tanta. I don't even know who they were.
Yeah, I think it was Neshoba.
Neshoba. Yeah, they won by Sal hit a buzzer shot, whatever. So I said, okay, so we play North. And Charlie Brace was on my mind already. So I got a haircut that day and he was next to me. And Roy said, who's going to win tonight? I looked over. I said, who do you think? And he said, no, it ain't going to happen. I said, okay. I got in the locker room and I said, we ain't losing. And I kind of yelled at Jay I think I got in trouble. We were in the zone and then Damien hit a three.
Yeah,
I said, DeMarr hit a three. I said, get the hell out of this damn zone. Let's go, man. I was pissed. I started yelling. We went man and we up at halftime. Because I thought we matched up with them and we already played them. We knew them. When DeMarr hits a three, something's wrong.
He'll be here in a
Joey
minute
hit
to
two.
defend, man.
No, because DeMarr never shot outside. He just was a slasher. He would kill you inside.
Yeah.
But he hit a
He'll
three.
admit it.
Damian hit two. Joey hit. We were down like 20 to 20, like 8, like quick. And I was in the huddle and I said, you call timeout. And I said, get out of this damn zone. Let's go, man. And I looked at Jay and he gave me that look. I was like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble. I said, I'm in trouble. And David hit me. He's like, look, pay attention. And Jay said, let's go, man. Let's go, man. And that's when we took off. Right when we were man, they were done.
So Diego's always the kind of guy, you got to remember this. We would call a play on a timeout. And then as Diego was going on the court, he would grab Jimmy DeVolio and say, where do I go?
Yep.
So we had to keep it simple with Diego because he was so geared up. He forget half the shit we were trying to do.
I definitely get. He still got it, man. He still. I mean,
Oh, you don't
Diego,
lose
what?
that. Tell him, Kareem.
you're not
Tell
even
him,
half
Kareem.
a step from where you were back in those days. Right now.
Kareem, tell him we'll still beat up these kids down.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, we still-
half court games now.
Definitely half court.
Half court games up to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give him 6. That's it.
Kareem, what was your favorite game in the run? Your best game personally, or your best game team wise? Give me one.
I don't know about personally. I think the whole run was special, right? I think that year we finished. I mean, we barely got in. We were 12-8.
12-8, yeah.
Oh, we were 14-6.
Or the 14-6.
Yeah.
But there
Yeah,
was a lot of
14-6.
teams that qualified for the districts. That's why we had to play the play-in.
Mm-hmm. And then what I do remember though is we had that first game against Wachusett at home, and it was the first time that everyone was early for the game.
Right.
Like everyone was locked in. Everyone was early. Everyone was getting geared up to play, loose but confident. And we came on put a pretty good beating on Wachusett. But then I mean beating the Johnnies at their place, that's tough to look past, especially when they handled us pretty well in the regular season, both games. So going up there and taking care of business there, that was really special. And then we always had that rivalry with North. All of us grew up together. We knew each other playing in Friendly House, Lincoln Square, Onic, the Parks, and they had beaten us at the buzzer twice that year. So handing it to them was special. But then I mean, you get to the Central. I mean, that's where you want to be. And we played a very good New Bedford team with Marcus Wills, who he's 40 years old. He can still play to this day.
Yeah.
And we just came up a little short. But I think it was a great experience for us all. I think that just gave us confidence coming back into that next season. And unfortunately, like Jay said a little earlier, all of us got sick that week before the district finals against St. John's, and it didn't pan out like we wanted it to. But I have so many memories from Holy Name. All good, all positive. I was so lucky and glad that I had the opportunity to go there. I always said if I could change one thing, I would have gone to Holy Name as a freshman and not a sophomore. That's always a special place for me with special people. So I'm very grateful for my time up there.
I mean, it's crazy. We were talking a few weeks ago, what makes a great coach. Obviously, JP, you're a great coach, but I mean, look at what you produced. Kareem's a principal at East Middle. You got Diego's a head coach of South High on top of the Sting program that he's done. BT, I don't know where he ended up tonight, but the director of boys and
Who
girls.
knows, man? BT's
knows?
BT.
You got my man Rodney, who
call me
just
when
got-
he needs something.
no kidding. I'll tell you, man. But just the members of the community that you produced yourself from that team, that goes a long way.
That's honestly, that's what makes coaching great. It's not the wins, it's the kids. It's always been the kids, and I think once you play on a team or once you're a part of a team, you're with those guys forever.
Yep.
And all these guys have gone on and done great things. I'm proud of them. They were good kids when they were younger. They need a little guidance and a little direction at times, but everybody does.
Absolutely.
Everybody does when they're young. But I love these guys. I talk about them to this day. My kids know these guys because I
Yeah.
talk about them all the time. My kids will always say, like, we'll go see Worcester Academy play where they went to say, Dad, could you beat these guys? Could you beat these guys? And I'd say, we'll take our chances with them. You know, we'll show up. But and the nice thing is a lot of these guys I knew since they were little. So I got to see them grow up to be men. They're all married now. They all have kids. They're responsible. You know, it's really makes you proud when you look back at the friendships and you see how well they've done. And you know, some of them we've lost along the way, and that's sad. Which is life, you know. But yeah, there isn't a lot of time that goes by that I don't think about these guys. They really
It's phenomenal. And also too, they all give back to the community. Like yourself, you came up pretty much through the Friendly House. That's where where everybody really knew you from in the start here in Worcester, pretty much on top of your own athletic. But all these guys are falling right in your path, giving back to the kids, taking care of the youth, building from the ground up, you know? So
good thing to do.
Thank you for that. And also, me and DeMarr talk all the time, man. Shout out to the Friendly House. Danielle Delgado is up there now, another pillar of the community. Adam Street. I think you are involved with the after-school program back in the day, so you had an influence on her. As did the Friendly House itself, you know. And what Diego is doing right now with the STING program and his own McClain training methods, it's eerily similar and it's great for the city to see.
And I'm really happy for Rodney. He's going to be doing the Bravehearts this year.
Unbelievable, man.
Finally came around, Rodney. You started to like baseball.
Yeah, slowly but surely, I'm starting
It's
to get
hard to
into the groove of
pronounce those
baseball
hockey
doing the
names,
games.
that's why.
So, and I'm definitely excited next month to do the Ivy League tournament. That's gonna be fun for the men's and women's basketball. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rodney's all
Rodney, what
over
was it, Harvard, right? Harvard is again, I mean,
Yeah.
they were not long ago, they were a tournament team. Are they on the path this year or?
Right now, the men are in 5th place, and they need to get one of the 4 seeds to get in because it's only the top 4 for men's and women's. Women's Harvard is in 4th right now too. So yeah, should be a fun time. Hopefully, both men and women will be in it. That'd be cool to have them both at home for it. So
I think Diego, next week we got a huge game, right, coming up. Notre Dame.
Come on, man.
That's what I like to see. And I
Come on,
feel
man.
the confidence. I feel it.
Stay humble.
Exactly.
Yep.
Listen, I'm humble. You know I'm humble. I do it the right way. I'm ready.
I like it.
My girls are ready. We practice hard. We're prepared. I prepared them. I told you I got it from the great one right there. See the great one? in there?
You play somebody good.
Hey, I had these long rides from Hooper Street to the Friendly House, like when I was 7 years old, and Jay was telling me, "That's all." Like I told you, Mike, that's all in me, man. That's all coming out of me right now. It's similar, man. I remember people be yelling at Jay, that. Same thing they do to me. Same desire, same heart, same practices, same every. Like I said, I've learned this from Tony. I've learned this from Jay. I learned all this stuff. So I've been through this already. You know what I mean? So now I just pass it on to my girls, and you see it. We literally have that 94, 95 Holy Name team right now. We got a Kareem. I got a Brian. Yeah, we just shoot better than we did.
I was going to say, they're better shooters, I think. It's amazing. I know the COVID and everything, it's been tough for people to get to the games, but to see this in person is amazing. These girls are shooting the lights out. So
yeah, we practice hard. You know what I mean? I told you, first hour we shoot, we run, we do drills, we do in-game situation drills, we do all that stuff, and you see it right when they get on. Boom, we down 4-0.
I think that was a big thing that I loved about our practices. The in-game situations were big.
Yes,
I remember I remember, Coach, you would put time on the clock, and you would say, "All right, white team is up 4. It's a minute to go. Next foul is 1-on-1," and those type of things. You get in that memory of all those situations. When you get to that in the game time, you guys know what to do at that time. So those are always big. In-game situations, especially getting into shape. Our practices were brutal, especially when we began the season. I mean, the conditioning was rough, man. I'm telling you, people don't realize how rough those sessions were unless you were in there.
Put waste baskets around the gym, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who puts waste baskets around the gym?
But I wanted
gets
you
up
guys to understand. What I wanted you guys to understand was, if we're in better shape than everybody else,
Right.
we got them.
Yeah.
And then, if you think about it, you remember practicing charges?
Oh
Remember,
yeah.
I used to put the mats out, so you guys, we were one of
Yeah.
the only teams that I watched the game the other day. I went to watch Worcester Academy play. 40-minute game, Kareem, not one charge.
Oh,
I mean, unbelievable.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, two really good teams. I mean, kid going to Duke. I'm watching it, and I want to yell at Sully, who played, Sully played for us.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell him, Sully, how can you play 40 minutes and not get one charge?
Yeah.
So what we wanted to instill in these guys, and they bought into it, was if we're tougher than the other guys and we're in better shape, we got them.
Well,
We never got tired.
I remember
Yeah,
I remember the slogan, don't let fatigue make a coward out of you.
There you go.
That's what it was. Don't let fatigue make a coward out of you. I remember that to this day.
You guys were in great shape, really good shape.
Play
Well,
hard
that
or
was at
go
the
home.
time we thought we were Kentucky. We pressed, I mean, full court press all day, every day. So
Man to man,
you had
all
to be
day.
in good shape. Yeah, you had to be in good shape to do
All
that.
day.
A full
But then
court
he had the
press, that
older
looks
guys come in.
familiar. That sounds familiar. The
Oh, yeah.
defense your girls are playing is crazy right
We're
now.
giving
The
up
1-2-2?
24 points a game, right? And that's what I told. I said, we're creating offense from our defense. That's my style. You know what I mean? It gives us urgency. We're all smart. I mean, you see it like this team Grafton, they were saying they were going to beat us. We were okay. I scouted them. I looked at what we needed to do. They went up 4-0, Kareem, right off the bat. They got a jump ball. They're bigger than us. They made a layup. We came down. We missed. They made a layup. I did my JP.
Sure did.
We went on
I
a
was there. I was
43-0
doing the
run.
game.
Man.
He sure did.
43-0 run. I've coached a long time. I've never went on a 43-0 run. It was 43-4 at halftime.
It was stupid.
It just hit them. But now, they're buying into it and they're practicing harder. They're fighting in practice. It's good. It's good. It's where I want to be at this time, and I'm excited about it. And we got another good test tomorrow and see how we respond. But they're us, man. I look at them. I see a Kareem. I see a Rodney. I see a Brian. I see a Donahue. I see him. Me as Jay. I see it all. We built it that way. You know what I mean? So you could see it happening, and I'm excited about it.
To me, it's incredible, bro. She's everywhere on that court. Like her intangibles on that court. She's everywhere. And her and Grace, not only are they the top two, I'm saying, around here, but the way they play together, they know where each other is on the court at all points.
Oh, yeah. They've been playing since 4th grade. So
It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. So hats off to that again. But your whole team is deep, like from the front to the back. Crazy. But
they train hard. Yeah.
you know it. So JP, who would you say, who is your coaching influence personally? I know we're looking way back here, but I
don't think I really have one. I think I always believed in just outworking the other guy. I mean, that's the kind of player I was. So I mean, Kareem, Diego, these guys had way more talent than I had. But I played great defense. I could handle the ball. I could pass. I had a horse shit shot, but I knew that, so I didn't shoot. I was a playmaker, but I knew that and you watch guys like Patino, how they coach, and you see the intensity with which they play with. Not Patino as a person, but Patino as a coach. He's a really good coach. I think you look at some of these other guys, they're coaches, but they're not really coaches, But when you watch a Patino team play, you kind of learn something every time. So I'd say if I had to pick out one guy that was kind of an influence, I would probably say him. But I just think we kind of made this stuff up as we went along. A lot of the stuff we did at Holy Name, we did at the Friendly House. I mean, we ran the same plays. I mean, I could still remember things we did with these guys at the friendly house, at the boys club, and we would do the same thing. And the nice thing about these guys were they were really athletic, so we could do a lot of things. We could challenge them, and they picked up things on the fly really well. So I don't know. I think your coaching philosophy comes from what you really want for an end result. And I wanted these guys to just be in the best shape they could be, outwork the other guy, and then when it came down to the nitty gritty, their talent would take over. And so style wise, I don't know, maybe we made our own, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
I dig it, man. I'll tell you. Seems
Where's
like
the rest of these guys?
I'll tell you, they I don't know what happened to Brian Darian today. He disappeared, like vaporized into thin air. DeMarr can't get on. I think he was stuck at work.
No, hold on. DeMarr doesn't want to hear about us beating.
You know what? That is awesome.
He's having technical difficulties because he doesn't want to hear about it.
That's what he's saying, but
The sad part about DeMarr was DeMarr played for us at the friendly house. When he went away, when he came back, I didn't know he came back till later. But if I knew he came back, DeMarr would have been at Holy Name.
Yep.
Now that would have been scary.
yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. One player, either way, from Holy Name to North that year, makes a crazy difference. I mean,
we had all those kids. We had Rashad Minor, we had Rob Liardi, we had Joey Nickerson.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember I don't remember everybody on that team.
how about at the friendly house, Jay Nickerson? Jay Nickerson was a beast at the friendly house, dude.
I
thought
Jason Nickerson was going to be a really, really
Special.
good
Yeah.
player.
He was dunking in bitty basketball, I think. I mean, not in the games, but I remember he was flying back then. Syracuse, I think he was on.
He was
That
very
is
talented. Yep, very talented.
And if only we had those bitty games back in the day on video. Like if everyone had phones like they do now, we'd have the half-court shot, right?
Yep.
Well, the other thing we tried to do was take these kids places. We took them everywhere to play, so they could kind of see there's a bigger world out there, see that there's other players out there. But we went to Connecticut, we went to New York, we went to New Jersey, we went to Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
I'll never forget Nicola Mastrocola. We were in Philadelphia, and he's looking at this guy on the corner. He's selling pretzels. And he says to me, him and Joey Nickerson, and they looking at me and they go, "Jay, what's that guy selling?" I said, "Those are pretzels." They go, "What?" I said, "You guys never had a pretzel?" They said, "No." So I got them a couple pretzels, and they thought they were like on cloud nine,
Awesome, man. We remember back in those days, the Pennsylvania, Steve Cunningham, Richie Webster, John Houlihan. Those are all friendly house names up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always got stuck with the worst parents. Because they used to stick us with parents. One parent made me eat sauerkraut. I was like, dude, I don't eat that. Like, I want cereal. Like, that's all I eat. I'll never forget. It was the Spud Webb when he won the dunk contest. We were watching it, and she came and she's like, here you go. She goes, aren't you like the leading scorer for their team? I was like, yeah, something like that. She's like, you want to eat that? I was like, no, I don't like that. She made me eat it, and I was throwing up. I'll never forget it. I was so sick. And I was telling.
Now you don't like sauerkraut.
Yeah, man. I was like, dude, what is? I'm like 10 years old. I don't eat this. I want life cereal or something. Like, you got. She's like, and they were so like religious too. They were like, go to bed. It's 8:15. I'm like, what? The dunk contest is on. I want to watch it. Yeah, it was so bad. I always got stuck with the worst parents down there. Oh.
What was, Kareem, you were on that Pennsylvania team, right? That traveling team at Friendly House?
Yeah. Yep.
How far did you guys get with that? Did you ever take a long run with that team, with those teams back at the Friendly House?
We had some good we had a good run. I remember going down to, was it Lebanon?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. And we played Hempstead, New York. And they beat the crap out of us. They beat the crap out of us. But then we got back up in Killingly. I think you had to go away for baseball. So I think Jimmy was coaching. And we beat him pretty good. But there was a great experience. It was getting us out of the city. You know, we were competing against other kids from obviously different states, you know, seeing the world a little bit. You know, those I can still remember those van rides. You know, that was some of the most fun we had. You know, cracking on each
Freezing,
other,
man.
laughing at each other, you know, having a good time. So it was just, and I think it was just so good for us being so young, and just really seeing, you know, other places, other people. So it was a great experience.
The nacho cheese one was the best. The nacho cheese was the best. Jay would tell us that. Then we have these games like he would say a college team, and we had to get the logo of the team or the. It was fun, and even DeAndrea, remember Nikki?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jay, it was freezing in the bus. I'm on Jay's van. I always went with Jay. I'm in the back and I'm freezing. We're coming back from Jersey. My hands are cold, and he's like, "Yo, Nick, give Diego your gloves." I'm like, all right. I'm like 9. I'm like 9 years old. He throws them to me, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, hold up, what's wrong? Then he touched me, and I just freaked out. Freaked out. And he talks about that. I was like, dude, like seriously, man. He's like, yeah. I was
Nick
like,
was
what?
my coach at when I was Georgetown. Nick was coach with Houlihan, me, Richie Webster, Steve Cunningham. That was the
Houlihan. Wow. Yep.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was those rides were fun.
Man, Nick's been in the game for a long time too. He's doing good. I think he's the head of Eastside Babe Ruth now or something like that with Steve Sargent. I think they both run that now.
Yeah.
He's still here in the city doing his thing, man. Friendly House, another link to still being in the community building, you know. But you guys are in some trouble now because DeMarr is here.
Hey.
Oh,
What's up? What's up?
They were just getting at you, my man. I had your back. They were just getting at you. They said you were scared.
They know better. They know better than that. But hey, listen. I was trying to log on. You see me driving. I'm fresh out of practice, fresh out of work, but I couldn't miss this for the world, man. JP, thank you for chiming in, man. And where is Brian Therian at?
We've been looking for him.
Been looking for Brian? Okay. I'm looking for him too. I'm gonna have to hit him up. But yo, Kareem, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Rodney. Diego, you know, I bump into you so often, man. This is about y'all. So I'm not gonna take up too much time. But hey, listen, I am gonna say this. I still got that scar from that year, man. And when y'all did us like that, man, at WPI. And all I can say is I have not stopped talking about that. The moral to the story is I'm heartbroken over y'all beating us the way y'all beat us, man. And that dunk summarized how I feel.
That was some, it seemed like it's some anger right there with that follow-up.
That's why Brian didn't come on.
That's why Brian didn't come on. But hey, authentically, man, I'm so glad we could talk about this and laugh about this years later. Me and Mike were just talking, man. Life is short, man, and people are passing, man. And this is what it's all about, man. Getting back together and just being able to reminisce, man. We're all blessed, man, to be here in general, and just to be able to get on here and talk about good times, bad times, and different times, crazy times is a blessing in itself, man. So yo, one love, man. You guys had an extraordinary run, man, and I will say this: you guys outcoached us.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Hey, wait, Diego.
I still wish,
Diego.
DeMarr, I told you this tonight. I still wish you came to Holy Name.
Man,
I do too.
Hey, listen. If I could see into the future, man, I would have. But hindsight's 2020, and I'm just loyal to a fault, man. And that's been my life story in a nutshell. Loyalty. I gotta get out of my own way, man. But yo, this is not about me. This is about y'all, man. And y'all made an extraordinary run. And I should have been on the court either with y'all or with New Bedford. So I had a 50-50 chance of being on the court, and I took that little fork in the road and went straight.
Yeah. And D, DeMarr, I was with you the year before.
I know.
With that team, we were stacked, but he just didn't think I was good. He didn't think I was good.
He didn't think he was good. And guess what he told us at before the game? He said, "Don't worry about Diego. He can't shoot."
Yeah, I know.
This is what we dealt with as a coach. This is what I'm telling you. And hey, listen,
Jay.
I don't have nothing bad to say about anybody. I love everybody, but there's no way you should get a cop or Worcester cop to be a coach of the high school. He already got a career. Give somebody else a chance.
No, and he wasn't going to pick me in tryouts. Remember, I was the 12th pick.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the bench with a dude that can't dribble. I'm like, what's going on here? No, I'm serious. I asked him. I said, "Hey, do you know that I would destroy your first 5 right now?" He's like, "You're not that good." I was like, "Okay." And then he just didn't want me on his team, I guess.
Well, if you don't know the game, you don't know the game.
Yeah. But I went back. I went back with who I was supposed to be with. So
I want to hear some Holy Name stories I haven't heard, man. That's why I'm here, bro. I want to hear some stories I haven't heard. I know the stories that we're talking about. I want to hear some stories that I'm unaware of. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, I could tell you some real quick. We used to end practice early because Jay wanted to watch Seinfeld.
Oh, that's right.
Like, Jay, serious? Jay, you would kick the ball just to get us out of gym, just to go watch Seinfeld. We know now. Now we're older. I was talking to Rodney. I'm like, hold on.
Thursday night.
That show. Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Every night when it was on, we had to end practice for some reason. Eddie, you're not running hard. Let's go home.
Seinfeld on.
He used to kick us out of practice all the time. I'm like, Jay, we've been here for 2.5 hours. Practice is over.
I know. You can't hit a half-court shot till you leave, and then you can leave. To everybody, and you got kids that can't even reach the hoop, and we're like sitting there like right now.
Remember? Wait, didn't you kick us out the night before we played New Bedford?
Yes.
No, I kicked you out the night before we played Fitchburg.
No.
I was so
Oh, the whole
pissed
team.
I was pissed at you and Matty Martunis, and we were playing. Fitchburg was undefeated, and
Ricky Prowlers, lefty.
I threw you guys. I threw the whole team out. I said, "Get out of here, you guys."
Yeah, I remember that.
You came back the next day, Kareem. I think you had like 26 with about 15 rebounds.
All I know is you kicked them out, and I got beat up in the office by Paulie David.
Was that the game before St. John's? Or was that the first or second time before St. John's that happened?
Yeah, he was beating me
He kicked
down.
us out of practice plenty of times.
No, I did. Once a year. You can't do it too many times.
I remember
The best were the Laprioris, though. I used to tell the Laprioris before the game. I used to say, "Hey, Lap, I don't know what you guys did to this team or whatever, but I just heard the coach telling those guys, you guys stink. You guys, I don't know what the hell. I don't know anything about it." And you could see steam coming out of their ears, and they would go out and totally just dominate the game.
Tough boy.
Unbelievable. Hey, JP, is this the best high school team talent-wise you coach?
I was telling these guys earlier, Diego's group with Kareem, they were a really good team. And then Kareem played with another group that was a good group. And then we had another group that was probably a little deeper than these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But these guys, I would put these guys up with anybody as far as like putting their heart and soul on the floor. We had other teams. We had bigger teams. We had deeper teams. But this team was magical. If you think of just that one year with the run, we're 14-6. We beat Wachusett by, I think we scored 96 points.
Yeah, we killed them.
Funny because I turned to one of my assistants. I said, "I don't think our season's going to end real soon." There was something magical about that night. Then we beat St. John's, who was 20-0. We played great. And then we go to Fitchburg, and I think Fitchburg was like number 2, right?
No, we played Milford.
I think St. John's was 1, Fitchburg was 2. No,
we
Milford.
played
Milford was 2. We beat Milford. Then we played North, a really good team who beat us twice during the year in great games.
Yep.
And then we beat Amherst, right?
Chicopee.
We beat them. These guys, what was nice about the season was the way we started and the way we ended. We just got better as the year went on. And these guys bought into it. And they just, I wouldn't want to play us at the end.
Yeah. And DeMarr, this is what I was saying, like where I get the way I coach and the way I train and all the things is because I got it from Jay. Like a coach, when you're coaching a team, every day we got better and better and better and better. And I've been in some coaches and it's like, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You were just frozen a little bit, but we can.
Okay. Like I've coached with no, but I coach with other people and it seems like they just level boring to the kids, you know what I mean? But Jay always had us, even if he wasn't there, if he had to go on a trip, you know, Paul and those guys ran a good practice. I mean, Scarborough overdid it with his pants up high and running us to death. But what I mean is we still were afraid of Jay. Like we were still afraid to mess up, or it was a respect thing. You know what I mean? When you respect your coach like that, you buy into anything they do. You dive on the floor. I remember Jay told me before the St. John's game, if you remember this, Jay, there was this kid who was like so neat. He was their point guard, pretty good point guard. His hair was always parted to the side, slicked down. Jay said, go over there and mess his hair up. I walked on the court right before the jump ball. I go over there, I put my hand right on his head and I shook his head right before the game. But that's the things that we did, you know, the fight at Burncoat.
Oh, I remember
cops
that.
yelling at JP.
I remember
JP's like,
that.
do you know who I am, man? you know who I
Jay was
am?
going that night.
I was
No.
pissed that night.
And that's why we beat him when we beat him.
What
You
happened?
know what I'm saying?
The guy grabbed
Wait a minute.
Diego.
Yeah, he like grabbed me.
The guy
for no
grabbed
reason. It was
Diego,
Brian.
and I went after the guy, and then the cop grabs me and he says, I'm going to arrest you. And Swifty, who was the state trooper, said, go ahead, then I'm going to arrest you. We were, yeah, you mess with one of my players, that would set me off real easy.
What was the
And
issue?
that's-
What was your-
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
how
where we
did that
learning
start?
from, man. That's
How did that start? How did that altercation start? I'm betting on Diego.
the guy that's not on the phone.
It was a
No,
great
the guy that's
Brian-
not on the phone, Brian Therian.
That was my second guess.
Darian got us in all kinds of shit.
DeMarr, he grabs the rim. He's hanging on the rim. He puts his nuts like in Mike Bradley's face. Like,
Oh,
like,
I remember that.
like, what are you doing, Brian? And he's like swinging from, and they're like, it was all from there. It was just bad.
Well, the game went double overtime. We lost in double
Yeah.
overtime.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a really heated game, and
Yeah, it was.
we beat them in the districts. They came out, they were 6'10", 6'10", 6'6", Will
Right.
Mosley,
Right.
6'4".
Right.
We didn't have a guy over 6'2", and we beat him.
Yeah,
Ah.
I got that
Outcoached.
and one. The
I
and one on
remember-
both of them.
I remember after that Burncoat game, that was a Friday night game.
Yeah.
So, you know, we lose. We had practice Sunday and we go to school Monday. We all get called down to Father Madden's office. So he's sitting there talking to us, you know, just laying into us. You can't be, you know, you're misrepresenting the school, this, that, and the other thing. And all of a sudden, you know, and Father Madden used to smoke cigarettes. And that was at the time where they just started, you couldn't smoke in the building, you couldn't smoke on school property. So we go into his office and it's nothing but smoke. And Eddie Brown goes, hey, Father, I thought we couldn't smoke in school. He kicked us all out of the, That's not what you're here for. You're here for what you did on Friday night.
Father Madden was a good guy, boy.
Father Madden.
He never said no to us.
Yeah.
Anything we
Supported
wanted.
us,
Yeah.
Manzi was a whole other story, but Father Madden was the best. We just
Yeah.
went around him. We went around Manzi to Father Madden.
It's
Hey, this is phenomenal. Hey, but what did y'all do? What did y'all do? How did y'all prep for us, JP? And I'm asking JP, but you guys can chime in too. Like, how did y'all prep for us? Because I know obviously there were higher ranked teams in the St. John's or whatever or whoever, but you guys knew that we were talented group. You coached 90% of the people that you played against, JP. Like, what was the plan going
You guys
into
were a
that
tough matchup because you were athletic. You know,
Right.
You were hard to defend because you were a slasher and you could get to the rim.
Right.
And Rashad was hard because Rashad was physical.
Mhm.
And, you
You
know,
want to fight.
yeah, and if we got in any kind of foul trouble, we weren't really deep. So that's why we started out in the zone against you guys, because I didn't want to get in foul trouble and then have to say, God, we're going to be really thin here. But then we eventually, like Diego said, he straightened me out and told me to finally go to man, and it helped us a little bit. But I think we just tried to keep you guys as much as we could. I mean, Pete Smith played a really good role for us. You know, Pete, we just told him to get a body on Rashad as much as you could, because at least you could, you know, body for body. And if Pete fouled out, we could cover for Pete. But we didn't have much depth beyond that. But you know, you guys were talented. You guys had a lot of talent. Joey Nickerson was tough, boy.
Mhm.
He was quick. He didn't play well against y'all because Diego was just a mismatch problem for him.
Yeah, he was Diego light.
Yeah,
I grew up with my
wasn't
man.
as big.
Love him.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wasn't as big as you. He just wasn't as big as you, D.
You know what it was though? It wasn't. I studied his game, but I was on Damian. You guys forget I wasn't. Brendan was playing Joey at first, and I was just shutting Damian down. I was just like yelling at Damian, shoot, and Damian was a little not timid, I would say, but he didn't shoot like he hit 2 threes, and after that he didn't score. And then Brendan gave up a couple.
Now wait. Let me stop you real quick. Are you Damian's older cousin?
Huh?
Are you Damian's older cousin?
What do you mean?
Are you his cousin? Are you guys related?
We always said we were, but no, yeah.
So word is, yeah, that was real random, right? But word is, you was threatening to beat his ass after the game if he played well.
No, I was saying that in the game, but after that.
That's what I'm saying. See? No, it was true.
No, but I was saying to him that kind of like, I thought Damian back then, like if he shot the ball, Damian had so much skill. He could dribble. He had these moves. He could shoot. He's a lefty. He's hard to defend. So I was talking just crazy to him. Then Brendan started like beating up on Joey started beating up on Brendan real quick. So I said, let's switch. So then when I stuck Joey, he didn't score again. I think he scored like 2 points on a whatever. And it was just like I said, I knew Reem was gonna lock up. You know what I mean? Brian was the only mismatch that we had was with you. But I said, not one guy is gonna beat us. That's the way I looked at it. I said, not one, I'm not gonna let one like dude beat us. You could get your 50, you were gonna lose by 10. Didn't matter. That was my mind. Plus, I had a guy that I didn't like on the other side that every time I scored, I looked at him. Like I literally looked at him.
You had fire.
Rodney, what I tell you in the locker room before we were doing the shoot around? When I looked you in the face and said, what? I said, we ain't losing.
We're losing.
I said, I'm not losing this game. I don't give, if I come out with one leg, I'm not losing this game.
Didn't Damian?
And I just took my game to a level.
Damon was there freshman year because we were on the same freshman team.
I thought Damon started.
Both of them. Yeah, he was there. We were all there. Me, Rodney, Damian, we were all there. But yeah, I knew Damian. I had to try to get him out of his game because if Damian caught fire, it was over. He hit 2 threes. He hit 2 threes. Joey hit 2 threes. DeMarr hit it. I'm like, dude, what's going on here?
And you know I wasn't a shooter, so if I'm hitting, you guys are in trouble.
That's what I just said that before you got on. I'm like, if DeMarr's hitting, we in trouble, dog. But we went out of the halftime. Hey, we went out of halftime with a lead. You heard? We left halftime with a lead.
You hit that half-court shot.
Yeah, I did an in and out on someone, and I just shot. But I was saying they were trying to say if it was a 2 or 3. But once we went in that locker room and Jay talked to us, and we got out of that was just we were just different. We knew we could hang with you. We knew he couldn't coach anymore. He didn't know what to do. That towel just got a little bit lower on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
So
Nothing.
It was just the best feeling getting the interview because remember Ken Powers?
Yep.
He was after the game looking at me doing my interview right in front of him. He said, Diego, once you at North last year and you got, and now you're here, how do you feel? On purpose. And I loved it. I
Hey,
loved every bit of
Rashad's gonna kill me for this next question. Kareem, biggest play of that game was a rebound that you
Yes,
got.
sir. Yes, sir.
Who said yes, sir? Was that Kareem?
That was me.
Yeah, Diego said that because he agrees. Kareem,
Yes.
what in the world was going through your mind in this rebound? Because I screamed at Rashad. Maybe you was listening to me. Maybe you was listening to me and Rashad wasn't. I said, Rashad, box out. And,
Yes.
And you guys were shooting the free throw, so he had the position on it, but you somehow pulled this damn rebound down. What did you do? Did you bite him?
I don't even remember that. You told that story a few times. I don't even remember that play.
What?
Brian Therian missed because he was scared.
I don't remember that play.
You don't even remember
Brian
it?
Therian was on the free throw line. Listen, Brian Therian was on the free throw line with a 1-and-1. He's kicking the line like there's dirt on it, like he's a pitcher. And I'm sitting behind him like, Brian, like you just had your game of your life at Milford. You played your ass off. Now you're afraid to knock these free throws. So he hits the back of the rim. Kareem just jumps and snatches it from Rashad, kicks it out to me. Then they foul me, and that was the game right there. It was literally we hit the 2 free throws, and that was it.
I'm disappointed, Kareem. That was actually the play that sealed the deal.
That was it. That was it.
That rebound sealed the game, bro. And you don't even remember that. I'm disappointed.
What I do remember, Rashad, is I caught Rashad with a nice sweet elbow.
That's probably it.
To his
That was
throat.
probably it.
That could be it. Maybe that was
probably
it.
it.
That's why I got the rebound.
We're gonna go with that.
That was a good rebound.
But nah, you guys had a phenomenal run. How about New Bedford? I'm gonna transfer it to my phone and go into the house, but I'm still staying with you. How about the New Bedford game, man? What about that game? Anybody? What about that game was special?
Free throws.
Oh, so nothing about it was special because you lost, but
Well,
I want to know, like, what about the atmosphere that was special?
That was amazing.
I never got
the place was jumping, and the guys came out a little tight. I remember I had to call a timeout real early, which I hated to do. And I just told them, I said, guys, just relax. It's just a game. Just have fun. That's what you did all the way here. And then Therian came out of nowhere and made an unbelievable layup. And then we settled down. We just played really well, but we didn't hit our free throw. We hit our free throws the whole run. When we got to the state finals, I'll never forget that we were 7 for 21, which was not like us.
Yeah.
We had four free throws. We win the game.
Yeah.
That's really was the only thing that we didn't do well in that game.
Well,
We played right with them. We lost by 3, but we really, I mean, they were probably a more talented team than us, but we stayed right with them. And if we hit our damn free throws, we would have won the damn game.
I agree.
Very talented squad, man. I played with all of them guys, and I grew up playing with all of them guys, and I knew all of their game. And I'm gonna say this: I was sitting in the crowd, like I should be playing for that team or that team. Yo, it's like a nightmare, bro. It was like a nightmare. It's like I was living in a nightmare. Like, this is unbelievable. I'm not on this court, but I had fun watching it, and you guys played very well. I think you guys had a chance to win that, and honestly, I can't say I was surprised, but I just knew how talented they were because I grew up playing with all of those guys. They could all play. They could all jump.
Yeah, they were very athletic.
Very athletic.
Very athletic. Will's kid played it. He went to play at Northeastern.
Yep. Yeah. And that was my guy. He's one of my best friends growing up in New Bedford, actually. But he's he could jump through the roof. He had a nice little jump shot. He was kind of like me with a jump shot. But yeah, man, I'm gonna leave the questions alone, man. I'm gonna let y'all vibe for a little bit longer, and then we're gonna get off of here, man. But this is phenomenal, and you guys actually set the precedence for our era, at least. Nobody around here was making it to the States at that time, so this is legendary for me. And I think that we need to do this more often with teams from our era and even before that have made noise and done something for the city to bring positive light back to the city, you know?
Well, guys, when you're my age, I'm going to bed. It's great seeing all you guys. I'm proud of you guys. I love you guys. I'm thinking of you guys. I'm praying for you. Diego, I'm going to get to see one of your games. DeMarr, I'm going to come see one of your games. Rodney, I'll be watching you this summer.
Cool.
Kareem, I see you all the time.
Yeah. He's going to come to your school.
I told Kareem I used to love Dr. J. Now I love Dr. K.
Hey.
You guys have a good night.
One love, JP. Thank you for checking in, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys didn't think I was gonna get that guy, huh?
I was surprised.
You didn't think I was gonna get that guy. Yeah. Hey, we all go way back. He coached us all.
I haven't seen him in yeah, but you know what, D? Like, people don't know this, but people used to hate on me. A big influence in my life, man. Like, he was like my dad, dude. He literally picked me up from school. I would sleep over his house. I'll never forget, his wife said something like, if I ever have a kid, I want him to be like Diego. He literally said that when I was at Funny House. I got an award or whatever. But the things that he's you know, with Kareem coming in and Eddie, like the things that he did for us, you know what I mean? It's what I do now for kids. Yeah, so I learned that from him. And I've never really got to talk to him about it, like how he changed, you know, you could change your life as a coach. But he wasn't even a coach, dude. He was a coach because he coaches, but he was more. Everybody knew JP, man. You know what I mean? And he was still doing scouting and high level baseball stuff, but he still made time today. I was like, oh, he still looks fucking. I couldn't believe that was him at first. I was like, whoa.
Right.
So that's kind of dope that
Still looks the same. He still looks the same. Still looks the same. Unbelievable.
And I think that's what gets lost in this whole thing was the coaching staff that we had. Right? You had Jay, you had Dabs, you had Paulie David, you had Ron Scarborough, you had Clarkey, you had Swifty. We had all these guys that at the time were, you know, young guys, you know, married, no kids, and we were kind of like their kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as a kid, you really don't understand that. As men, you know, we realized how lucky we were to have that influence. Someone who, you know, would be real with us, but would, you know, get on us when it was necessary. But at the end of the day, they only wanted what was best for us. You know, so that, I think that's probably the most, you know, fortunate thing, you know, about my time at Worcester East. I mean, not at Worcester East, at Holy Name, was just that coaching staff and just how much they cared about us as people before basketball players.
Right.
I salute that.
What was cool too was we all hung out. I mean, you know, especially because it was such a new dynamic having Diego come back and then having Kareem and then having Andy Brown and new pieces, Pete Smith and everybody else, and kind of merging out with the people that are already there with the, you know, the Tunas, the Therians and Donahues. But then you mix that all together and we started always hanging around with each other, you know, we were talking basketball, we were talking about everything. And it was just cool to kind of bond during that time, you know.
And don't forget, because when we first got there,
remember that.
When we first got there, Rodney, you know, we used to play basketball after school.
Right.
It was like Remember the Titans.
Oh yeah.
Right. It was divided. It was split. You had the kids that were there for a while, had put their time in. You had kids that were coming in, and you know, we battled. But I think, you know, through those battles, there was a lot of respect gained, and that just brought us, you know, closer together.
Yeah, because I remember, Rodney, I walked in and I was like, Brian Therian was the only one that came up to me. He was like, oh, hey, what's up? And he introduced himself and I was like, real quick, who's the best player out here? And he pointed to, who was it? The one who he got kicked, what was his name?
He got kicked off, he said.
Homeboy. He got kicked off.
Oh,
man. What was his name? You know him, Rodney. 94, remember he got kicked off the team?
Yeah.
What was his name?
I think it was Mike.
Mike, what was his last name?
Shit. I don't know why.
Do you remember?
Was he tall? Was he tall?
So that
He
I,
was a
I know
tough
you're
kid,
talking about.
tough
See,
kid.
I'll
He would've
admit that
helped
was
out. He
tough.
was a short. He was a
No,
guard.
it
He was a little guard.
was Hippert.
He's a guard.
And I love
You know
Mike.
what I'm talking about, right? He was on the
Mike
team.
Hippert.
Mike Hippert.
And I loved, you
Mike
know, it
Hippert.
was tough for me because
I loved
we were there
Hippert. I
since
loved
freshman
him.
year. So when
But I asked Brian,
that was one of the toughest times around there for me, especially
Yeah.
because you know we were there from the beginning, and
Yeah.
and
He
that
was a
whole
good
thing happened,
defender.
it sucked like that.
He was-
That time,
He was a good defender.
yes, very athletic. You know, soccer player.
Diego got more to the story. So
Remember-
what happened? What'd you do to him, Diego?
No. I was saying like me and Kareem, like we came in, like we didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? I knew
Right,
Rodney
right.
from before, but I just went up. Brian introduced himself. He said, I just said to him, I said, who's the best guy out here in this open run
Right.
from last year? He said, that dude. That's all he need to tell me. And that's how I got my name. We went in there. Remember Kareem? We were just tearing things up. They were like, ooh, this kid's good. Oh, this dude's nasty. That's how I had to do it. It's literally what
Right.
Michael Jordan said. Like, I had to find who's that dude? Is he the best? Brennan? No, that dude Hippert was. So I had to go after Hippert. I had him. I was guarding him. He was guarding. We were doing what we did. And when we left that after school pickup, the next day in school, I know people are saying, "Yo, Kareem, you playing basketball, right? You're this and this," and they kept talking, and that's how we made our. And then one of the dances, the Holy Name dances, we had to dance, so they knew we could dance. So that's how we got to know people too. We had
Come on, Doug.
That's how we kind of got into freshman year.
Yeah, because they didn't let us in, man.
It
DeMarr,
was a tough.
they did not let us
I'll
in, dude.
easily admit
Why?
to it.
Why?
Going
No,
to the Holy
listen,
Name
it
my
was-
freshman year was one of the most difficult times I've
Oh my!
experienced
They
as a youth.
surrounded us, D.
It was.
What?
They surrounded us, man.
This is the stories I want to hear about. So what happened?
So we were at. They used to have this.
The cookouts.
What was it?
The cookouts. Remember
Rodney. Was
the
it?
cookouts. Remember we
The
had
cookout. Remember,
like,
Kareem?
the first week.
They have a cookout and
He's breaking up.
introduce,
Is he breaking up on your end?
Yeah.
We're up there, and they surrounded us, dude. Like they. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you.
Oh, no.
You're breaking up though. It
No,
slows
so
down
we were
every
up in
now
the field. It was me, Rodney, Damien, Oscar.
Larry.
We were just up there, just chilling. We freshmen, we just sitting there, and like all these juniors and seniors just surrounded us, man. Like, get out of this school. We don't want you in this school. And this and that, like, like leaving notes on my locker,
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
It was rough, man. It was
Really?
bad. Oh yeah, it was bad.
See, I need a 20.
bad.
I need a 20-second timeout because
Like
no,
it was
I
only like 7 of us.
I was really close to going there, bro. And you're telling me that's this type of stuff?
Yeah, it was.
This was 91.
Oh. 90,
91.
91. That's because we had a headmaster at the time that didn't care, dog. Like DeMarr, I wore a tie. We used to wear ties and dress up. So I would match my shirt with my socks. Like if I had a blue shirt, I had blue socks. Yellow. And I got in trouble for that, man. He's like, you're not starting a trend here. What do you think this is? What do you think? Like, it was so, dude, it was so bad, man. And then when Father Madden came over, everything changed. Like he was basketball. He liked us. That guy, who was it? O'Brien or something? Whoever it was first, they didn't like sports. It was literally like 7 black people in that school.
That's crazy.
And I thought Rodney was a teacher when I first got up there.
I remember everybody thought I was a
Got off
cheat.
the city bus. I got off the city bus. I'm like, oh, black teacher. Because Rodney was 340. He's about 340, 6'4".
Yo,
And he was like, it was me, you, Fred,
Larry,
Damien,
Oscar.
Larry, Oscar. There was
What
probably
grade
like
was-
10 of us.
what
And we
grade
got
was this?
surrounded.
What grade was
Freshman.
y'all?
While we were freshmen.
91.
91.
We were
okay.
freshmen and we got
you said
surrounded by
90.
juniors and seniors, man.
That's crazy, bro.
They surrounded us, man, like telling us to get out of school. You guys don't belong here type stuff. And I remember I sat there, like I said, dude, you guys are going to jump me, but I'll be back. Because there was like 30 of them, dog. And I see Larry skating away, Damien, some of these guys, I'm sitting there looking around. And I was like, dude, they like literally surrounded us, a circle around us.
That's why.
It was so
why I
crazy.
didn't- See, if I would have ended up there, it would have been bad, bro. Because it would have been.
That year was really bad.
I wasn't there for that
I
year.
used to cry.
Like,
Yeah.
No,
I
you
never
weren't.
Wasn't
experienced
there?
that when I was
When you
No,
got there,
no,
when you got
it
there,
changed.
Kareem, none of
Yeah,
that.
never.
None of that?
Changed a lot.
No,
Okay.
it didn't.
It changed
When
a
Father
lot.
Madden came, it changed. Everything changed.
Okay.
Like everything, the culture of the whole thing, those guys left. It was just bad. I told Ryan, I was like, I have to get out of here, man. I was telling my mom, I can't be here. Like they're
I
leaving
remember
notes
you
on my
left after
locker, man.
freshman year, and I
Yeah,
still
I
stayed.
bounced.
You know,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it was tough because then, you know, obviously the lesser numbers at the school for people of color. I mean, it was tough. You know, I even looked I remember my first, after that whole incident happened, I got home, my dad was asking me, you know, how was your first day of school? And I never even told him that story because I knew if he would have heard that story, he would have probably took me out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what's so
I
funny?
wouldn't,
that
I
was
wouldn't
bad.
imagine that. I wouldn't
happened?
have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought that when I thought about Holy Name. That's like one of the last things I would have thought of. But Kareem never experienced anything like that.
Not while I was up there.
It
I
was,
think
it
he was-
was such a different
Before
atmosphere.
you got on, I said, you know, the one thing, you know, I'm a Grapevine Valley kid. So where I always wanted to go was Burncoat. Right?
Okay.
Everybody in my neighborhood went to Burncoat. You know, my
Right.
cousin went to Burncoat. Your wife, my cousin went to Burncoat.
Right.
So that was just what I wanted to do. You know, that was
Right.
just carrying on, you know, passing the torch.
Legacy.
You know,
Yeah.
but then we had moved to Shrewsbury, and you know, my mother said, "No, you're going to Shrewsbury High for a year," and you know, she made me try that, and then I transferred out. And before you got on, I was saying if I could change anything, the one thing I would have changed, I would have went to Holy Name as a freshman.
Mm.
You know, so that's I really enjoyed my my time there, my experience.
Yeah.
Holy Name
Yo,
wasn't nice to me either, just because we were South kids. They didn't like me.
Yeah.
Either. I didn't get in the clique, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I just dog people. I don't care. But also too, I really got thrown out the first year because I didn't have the right shoes. I got demerits all the way up the line. My parents were like, "Nah, those are shoes we bought you," and they were like, "Those aren't good." I got caught with 1,000 demerits. It was dumb. It was real dumb. That's what happened too. But
That's crazy.
I never.
It was strict, man. It was strict. Let's you know,
But no,
ties,
you know,
not took in demerits, tie not put on demerits. It was
I
sweater.
wasn't-
You didn't have your sweater during that period of time.
Demerits.
Demerits.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
still
All
was-
changed when you play basketball. Basketball
Yeah.
season.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
basketball season. You the man. You the man.
But I got good with the nuns. You know, I got good with the nuns downstairs. I was cool with the nuns. So they were like, Diego, just go. Started wearing sneakers.
Dude, God bless
But yo-
you.
Remember we did Bloods and Crips?
But yo, I will say this. Oh, go ahead, Kareem, go ahead.
Whoa, what?
Oh, we got a lot of trouble
This
for
must
that.
have been when I
Yeah,
left.
remember that?
What?
Yeah, that was, I don't know what we were thinking. We tried to make that like,
We weren't.
it was so crazy, man.
We
Wait,
beat each
what
other up
happened?
Always.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah,
I heard
we would jump
Bloods
each
and
other.
Crips.
We
I
would
heard
jump each other if you seen one of them in the hallway, throw his books on the floor. We did Bloods and Crips. We had
Nonsense.
red bandanas, blue bandanas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yo, I'm all
We all
so
got
funny.
along with each other. You know, it wasn't.
It was just
it was
funny,
fun.
yeah.
It was fun.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
causing problems. You know?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, I'll
that's
never
hilarious.
forget.
But yo,
Yeah.
individually, all of y'all are successful right now, man, and that's dope. Like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, boom, 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 from the outside. Even BT running the boys club out. He hopped from boys club to boys club over there, right? You
Yeah.
guys all doing your thing individually, successfully, man, and that says a lot. And I think back to what Kareem said, got to give a lot of credit to the guys who are around you and instilling these things into you guys. You know what I mean? The coaches, they didn't have kids. You guys were their kids. They were instilling things into you. So that plays a big role, man. And I salute that more than anything, especially that North High game. I salute that way more than that.
But all right, fellas, it's a school.
Yo, get some
I gotta
rest,
get up in the
man.
morning.
I know you got to
Yeah,
get up.
we
and
play
do-
tomorrow.
I know you got to get up and handle your business. But I'm pissed at BT.
Oh,
Eddie,
man,
he-
of all people too. not
Eddie
to-
Brown, Eddie. I knew Eddie was gonna swindle his way out of this one.
Yeah.
And I talked to him earlier. You think about it. I talk to BT every day, pretty much, every other day at least. I got Eddie. Both of them said they'd be here. Then I got JP, and he made it, and them two didn't. They ought to be ashamed of this.
They should be ashamed.
Don't let them live this down. Don't let him
Well,
live
we're
this
not.
one down,
I
fellas.
I think
Oh,
BT might have blocked me. What?
He what?
Yeah, I don't know. He just disappeared in thin air, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get on it. But yo,
He's
big love,
talking about
man.
trash.
Take these, man.
Respect to y'all, man. Salute to Holy Name, man. And I'm a North guy, so you know that's different. But
Yeah.
you know, y'all are my brothers. Y'all are my brothers off the court, man. So it's all love, man.
Legit, guys. Thank
Keep
you
up
for
the good
coming.
work with the podcast, fellas. This is
Yes, sir.
Congrats.
Thanks for coming,
Good seeing
man.
you,
One
Kareem.
love, man.
Local sports get some love, especially around this area. And so you guys are doing big things. So I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. And DeMarr, you, Sasha, should be proud, man. You got boys playing D1 basketball and scholarships and doing
Yes,
their thing
sir.
and representing over at BC.
Hey,
So,
you know what though? You know the thing is, better kids than basketball players.
yes.
Big time.
Amen.
Big time.
That's the key. Better kids than
Yep.
basketball players. You
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Because they're always gonna be able to lean back on that. No
Yeah.
matter when the ball stops bouncing, they always be able to lean back on their character, you know?
Yep.
Yep.
Yo, big love, y'all. For
All right,
real,
fellas.
big
Take it
love,
easy.
man.
Guys,
Salute.
thank
All right,
you.
baby.
Success to all you guys, man. Have a great night, man. Good luck to you, Coach Diago McClain. Tomorrow.
Sir.
All right, baby.
Rodney,
right.
get that. Rodney, put your wig on.
Yo, good.
Hey,
good, good
It's
good
gone.
stuff, Mike.
I'm not afraid to admit it, man.
Yo, stop LeBron in it, baby.
Uncle
Take
All
Ron.
right, later.
Friday.
Later.
Good stuff, y'all. One love.